I'm from Manchester Business School at the UK. So the slide, I have a lot of slides. So just a very quickly, you can see that there are a lot of slides, but some slides I will go into more detail. Some slides I will just whiz past through very quickly. So I really appreciate some comment and question and suggestion, because we are just about to start the project. We got funding for part of projects while we are still looking for funding for the rest of it as a proof of concept. So this is the title, and then very quickly just the objective and also what is the problem. Yeah. So there are a few things I listened to quite a few presentations this morning, and I must admit that our perspective is very, very different. So first of all, we rely a lot on human. Although there is digital, there is identity, there is AI, but the human is very, very important and cannot be eliminated in this case. And also, as far as identity is concerned, I make a great difference between identity and identification. So most of the time we have no use of ID here, because a lot of our users, the main target or main assets, they don't want to be identified. They want to remain anonymous. And as far as identity is concerned, for example, you might talk about driving license, whereas for us, in some situation, a unique body part will be classified as an identity, or maybe the voice of the person. So it's much more about trying to identify the person, individual in some situation. So apart from this digital ID I think previously we talked about, it is the infrastructure that has to be trustworthy. And we also now trying to exploit LLM. So this project, for this particular project, we have three parts. So there's the voice part, and then there's the chatbot, and then there's the passing of information. The task is trying to perform actually is very, very small, but we appreciate that it is a huge task to do it safely and in a trustworthy manner. So I will just quickly go through. I think at this moment we have funding to cover the first two parts, to start thinking about the first two parts. The third part is actually a lot to do with identity, identification, and ID, but we have not yet got funding for this part. And it is because it is the third part, we kind of trying to concentrate on the first two parts for now. So the next few slides, I just want to very quickly talk about our partner and how it try to help us reach the impact. So I want to talk about 58, Just Good Work, and also I want to talk about the reassurance network. So here we want to exploit Gen AI, and we want to create a chatbot. We want to have voice to interact with the worker, and most importantly, as an academic and also as a member of the Trustworthy Network Digital Identity Group. So we obviously want to be very concerned about the riskiness and the safety of this whole thing. So Just Good Work 58 is our main partner. So they are basically the content. Yeah, so they have the app. They have been running this whole thing for 5 years. So they provide this information for the workers. And you can see that they have really reached out, well, in this direction. So in fact, this particular network that they have reached out cover three very important industry in the UK, namely the garment, fashion industry. And then there's also the health and care sector, which is very Central Asia supply chain. And there's also the agriculture, horticulture. So that is more Central Asia, the health and care more coming from India, Malaysia, Indonesia. So you can see that they have huge network and huge impact. And I've been to their Malaysia office and then, see how they work in Malaysia. So basically, this is all what I'm trying to say is that our involvement will require a human solution on the ground. We can't really do much. We are not really, the ground's problem solver. We are just trying to provide digital facility, digital aids. So, for example, at this moment, they have handled all these cases last year in Malaysia. So they have grievances 45, 30 inquiry. So, for example, in the app, when people use the app, whoever use the app, so in this case, you can see that the inquiry about working conditions and applying for jobs in the UK. So this that is the benefit of this kind of digitization. You immediately see where the supply chain is of labor and where they are coming from. Yeah, and then in fact, I think maybe if you want to go a bit further, you can look at the sort of question that these people have been asking. So here is another human organization that we are working with. So the Risk Assurance Network, obviously, they really talk about human rights and ESG. And then in particular, in the UK, they audit the supply chain in this sort of specific regards. They do have a very big global reach. And then this is particular work that we collaborate with them in Leicester. So the whole point is that, so these are the people they work with. The whole point is that we have the content from Just Good Work, and then we have the human specialists from the Reassurance Network. Then obviously, when successful, we are not restricted to these two parties. We can literally just work with any content provider and also any human activist or supporter on the ground. So the very important thing for this project is to make the information readily accessible to the worker to fit into their situation. So I try to say that maybe we just like a voice over the Just Good Work content. More importantly, I think there's exact kind of omit a very important point is that a lot of workers do not know how to find information. And also many times they can't read. They might be able to talk about their problems. Maybe they can't kind of describe their problem well. So this is exactly trying to interact with them and help them to get to the help quickly. So this is a future. So there's a kind of voice interaction. I noticed my time. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, obviously when it is digitized, then there's a lot of information can be harnessed. So the next part, I'm just going to speed up a lot in the sense that this is very standard. So we have really mounted a prototype messenger on Facebook. So someone being a friend of Facebook to Enduring Net can ask questions about various aspects of modern slavery. So this is how it is implemented. I think for the audience here should be pretty standard. So we can ask questions and we can also talk to the worker. So this is the next step, not immediately in this current work, but maybe quite soon, is that instead of word to vec, we will go to voice to vec, wave to vec. So this is really to allow very small scale, very targeted training. As I say, a lot of workers, they can't really write the question. And also this wave to vec will help us reach a lot of low resource language country or places and region. And it allows the training. So you can see here that according to this project team, within 40 minutes of training, they can cut down tremendous amount of errors, unlike the OpenAI solution that you use 600,000 hours. Then obviously, we are very aware that voice itself, I now have to write a very long, a very detailed data governance, information governance for my university before we can start the project. How do we store the voice? How do we, protect the privacy? I'm also in the LLM reading group for the Turing, and then there's really a lot of medical research about how to conversation and also through this communication that you can detect mental state, emotions, and how to use persona to, bring in the conversation. So I think you should appreciate this when you realize that you're talking to workers rather than, average working class. Yeah. So the GPT section, I think there's a LLM presentation just about, half an hour ago. So maybe I can speed up a lot here. I benefited a lot from this report. I've been reading this many times now, just trying to look back and look at every steps of my work and of our model to see what are the problems we can detect. So I think, yeah, for example, this is very quickly, we can produce this already. So we have chatbot. It just take 2 days to read the entire .gov.uk website. So plus you can just ask a question, how do I apply for a visa? Immediately you get this answer. Then obviously our problem is not to get the answer. Our problem is to simplify the answer so that the worker understand what is needed. Yeah, and so we very much depend on RAG, and talking about granularity, we really have to have very little targeted chatbot in different locations for different subjects. So you can see from here that this is the sort of question that the Malaysian team is working on. How do you, think about the worker will ask question about these subjects, and then what are the answer you're going to give them? So there's a lot about how to follow the chain of thought in order to get the information. So about data training, a lot of these problem with this model is that the easy to use model, you have to upload data instead of downloading the model. So this is a huge, huge problem with privacy. And also the danger of when you're uploading the information, somehow you review and leak the personal details. Okay, and in fact, they already some OpenAI model has been sued by some company to say that you promise that you don't release my secret, but when they start asking question in public, public version, and then they start to see the company's secret being leaked out in the retrained model. So this is the very last section that I'm going to kind of quickly rush through. My time is soon running out. So this is the part that we have not yet gone into very detail. This is the outcome of our COVID research, kind of, legacy from that time. So after we got the worker to tell us what the problem is, we're trying to emulate the UK Relay UK emergency service. So the Relay UK has 3 information. What is the problem? Where are you? And what do you need? Do you need ambulance? Do you need fire rescue? So we are trying to repeat, immaculate, trying to repeat this to say, where are you? Which industry? Which location? And then what is your problem? Is it because of missing wage, or are you stuck because your your visa run out, or you've been conned to come to the UK to work, but actually there's no jobs. So who do you need to contact? So sometimes, very often, the worker will not know exactly who they need to contact. So we need to have a lot of AI, a lot of human help to try to direct them to the right person or right organization. So I
1
did
minute,
not
please.
write. Yeah. So time's up, is it?
Pretty much. Just round up, please.
Yeah, okay, just round up. So basically, the connection, the communication is based on internet connection ID. So the 13-digit ID to in the connection. And then if the situation is safe and where the situation is needed, there can be different layers of very detailed information about the individual like this. Yeah. So our identification include their connection ID through maybe social media, WhatsApp, WeChat, or maybe email, or maybe other card number, other identity. Yeah. And then this is a very decentralized way of how the communication being established in the group. So if you think about blockchain, this is a no chain, so to speak. And then there can be a lot of subgroup. Yeah. So I will stop here and we'll invite some question. and maybe suggestion, some ideas.
Great, thank you.